Hi, 8th graders. It's Mrs. Arietta for the day 3 video for your 10-day pack. So let's go over what you're supposed to be doing today, which is technically yesterday, but by the end of today, I should be caught up, I swear. So for reading, they wanted you to, of course, continue your independent reading and fill out a reading log. I think you know how to do that by now based on what I said in my last 2 videos. They want you to review the Banksy sources 1 through 3, and then there's a couple of reading questions that you need to answer based upon them. It says that it wants you to review the excerpt of The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. However, upon looking at it closer, the only reason it asks you to review that is to complete the writing prompt from day 2 if you didn't finish it already. So if you've already finished the 2 ACE paragraphs from yesterday, then you're fine. You're done. You don't have to do Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian anymore. For writing, they want you to start your first draft of your argumentative essay. So let's talk about what you need to do today for the Banksy stuff. So before we go on to the essay writing, you need to do something independently for me. There is a box on the page after it lists what you're supposed to do for the reading. There's a box on there that has several paragraphs from source number 2. You need to read through that, and with a highlighter or a pen or pencil, you need to highlight or underline sentences that support the claim that graffiti is an important form of art. So you're looking for sentences that support that claim, not yours. Question number 2 wants you to check off the opinions that are applicable to each source that you've read. Note, I heard some people asking, where's source number 4? I don't see a 4th source. You're right, there's not a 4th source. I've scoured the packet. There is no other sources unless you count the pictures. But there was no written material there to pick a side. So ignore the column that says source 4. The last thing it needs you to do is pick the source which is the strongest support of if you were focusing on how graffiti affects the community. So if you were just going to talk about its effects on the community, which source would help you write an essay about that? So take a minute. If you have not done those questions yet, hit pause on this video and go do that because I'm about to move on. All right. So yesterday I put this up on the screen. You can easily create a stars and bars organizer on binder paper or digitally. To make this, I just made a 2-box table in Sheets, but you can do the same thing in Google Doc as well. You need to have 3 clear reasons in support of whatever your main claim or thesis statement is. So if you believe that Banksy is an artist, you need to have 3 good reasons why he is an artist. If you're on the side of him being a criminal, you need to have 3 good reasons why he is a criminal. The bars on the side are for you to support those reasons with evidence and explanation. Elaborate on that idea that you've introduced. Elaborate just meaning talk more about it, explain it more, provide more details. So this was all from yesterday. I'm moving on to how to write your argumentative essay. You might recognize these words. We've done them before. We just finished a quarter of argumentative writing with the invention unit. The first thing you should put down in your packet is your introductory paragraph. So the first thing you need is a hook. Think about fishing. You want to catch your audience and reel them in so that they want whatever it is that you're giving them, right? So you're going to write a sentence that pulls me, the reader, in. An essay about Banksy and whether or not he's a criminal, you might want to go for a shock factor, like the greatest artist of our time and also should be in jail. Pick something that will kind of wow or shock your audience. Or if you're going for the artistic side, maybe find a quote or use some figurative language. You get to have some fun and be creative when it comes to the hook in your essay. The next thing you need to include is a couple of sentences that explain who Banksy is and what is the issue. What are the 2 sides and what does each side say? You need to make sure you include that in the introduction. You should not be explaining that later in your essay. Now is the time to get your audience up to speed. And then the last thing you need is your thesis statement, of course, which we should have done yesterday. You just throw that at the bottom of your introduction. So if you want to go write your essay along with these slides. Hit pause here. I'm going to move on to your body paragraph requirements. You need to do this process 2 to 3 times, depending on how many body paragraphs you are going to include. The first sentence should be that star that you put on your organizer, the reason why your thesis statement is true. You're going to turn those stars from your stars and bars into a complete sentence, stating one clear reason why he is an artist or a criminal. After you have that one sentence, that one clear reason, you need to pick a quote or an example from the sources that support your reason. You're going to cite the source and include the source number at the end of any reference. So if you just paraphrase what the article says, put the parentheses and source number at the end of it. Even if it's paraphrased, you still need to tell me where you got that information from. After you have a quote or an example from a source, you really need to include an explanation. Assume that your audience does not see the connection between the quote that you've chosen and your reason, your topic sentence. You need one sentence that builds a bridge and ties the two together. We sometimes call this explanation a bridge for that reason. Connect the two ideas. What does your quote or evidence prove about Banksy or graffiti? You should probably try to do 2 pieces of evidence per body paragraph. So that's why I've included 4 and 5 as evidence and explanation again. You're going to pick a different quote that supports the same reason and then bridge it to your topic. So I'm going to give you a second here. Pause this video if you're going to work on your body paragraphs. Leave this slide up, and I'm going to move on to the next paragraph. Most argumentative essays should include a counter-argument. If we were in 6th grade and we were still doing persuasive writing, you might not need to introduce the counter-argument. But in 8th grade, our standards state that you need to be able to express what the other side's opinion is and why they're wrong. So the first part of that is the counter-argument. You're going to write 2 sentences at least that explain what someone on the other side might say. So for example, if you argued that he is a criminal and he should be in jail, what are the fans of his art claiming? Fans of his art say that it's a service for the community and not a crime. It's not detrimental. Those are what his fans would say. That's the counter argument. Now you need to go in and turn back or provide a rebuttal to that argument. So in 3 sentences, so notice this should be more of your counter argument paragraph. In 3 sentences, explain why that other side is wrong or what they fail to see. This is a great place to bring another piece of evidence in. So maybe the fans of his art say that it is a benefit to the community because it brings people together. You could say, yeah, it brings people together. 75% of Banksy residents who live in a community where Banksy is vandalized want it gone. They want it to be erased or painted over. That would be a great way to take what they're claiming, provide more sentences and evidence on the other side, and say what they're seeing that's wrong or why they're wrong. So if you're arguing that he is a criminal, then you need to target the claims that the fans make and explain why it's invalid or wrong. And then vice versa is true. If you're arguing that he's an artist, why are the people who say he's a criminal wrong? Why is their reasoning invalid? Take a minute to pause this video if you're going to write your counter argument, and I'll be back in a second with the conclusion. All essays need a conclusion. Otherwise, it kind of just ends with a fizzle and you don't really feel like you're satisfied with the work. So the first sentence of any conclusion paragraph is a restatement of the thesis. You take your original thesis statement and try to make it sound brand new. Mix it up, change how it's phrased, use a thesaurus and get some new words in there. You don't want it to just be your thesis statement a second time. You want to restate it in a new and creative way. The next part of any conclusion, summarize the key points. So for each body paragraph that you've written, you could probably summarize the whole paragraph in one short sentence. Dedicate 1 sentence per body paragraph, explaining what you have gone over. Please make sure when you do this section not to talk about your writing. It's very important. Do not write about your writing. Don't say, In my first paragraph, I talked about, no, don't say that. Just say whatever your reasoning was. Just say it outright. Summarize exactly what it is that you said before without talking about the essay or yourself. The last sentence of your essay should leave the reader thinking. So there is no one right way to do this. You could end with a quote. You could end with a question. You can have a call to action like everybody should be trying to stop graffiti everywhere, or everybody should take a moment and appreciate every piece of artwork that's laid out in our streets. That would be a call to action. You can question the audience about what would the world be like with less art in it. Any comment that ends the essay strong will make your conclusion strong. It's about ending with a bang. So with that, those are all the pieces that you need to construct your argumentative essay. The next video that I make, I will start talking about the revision process for your essay and what you need to do to make it the best it can be. With that, I'll see you in the next video, and good luck with your essays. Bye!